Good morning. It's the morning of Monday, March 28th, 2022, and my name is Nathaniel Gleason. I am Vice President of North American Agricultural Services, which is owned and operated by my father, CTA David Gleason. This morning we will take a look at the weekly soybean charts using Ganntrader techniques on original Ganntrader software. After the Gann analysis, we will use Trade Navigator software to follow trend and look at buy and sell signals. We will start with a 144-week cycle in the May soybeans. This first chart is a weekly May soybeans chart showing a cycle of 144 weeks. We're starting the cycle of 144 weeks from the April 24th, 2020 low at 808 at a price per week ratio of 16 cents. This gives a time and price meet due January 27, 2023, with the midpoint in price crossing at 1957, and that is our target marked with the white horizontal line. A couple things about this chart. You can see this division point here was just a week off marking that previous high last year. Then we fell off below the midpoint of the target, and that crosses at 1386. We made a low around the 84 week, which Dave likes to keep an eye on. That's not marked, but that'd be around here somewhere. And then we rallied into the 2/3 division point in time, marked by the green vertical line here that crossed on February 25th, 2022, and we got a high in place, and the market's kind of stalled now. Ideally, what would happen is we sell off into this next division point, which is the double clue marked by the purple vertical line, which is due May 20th, 2022. And it would be nice if the market sold off in there. Some profits were taken near the high. This would give people a chance to re-own soybeans. The clue is due September 23rd, 2022, and that may also mark a change of trend. Now, we might come up and hit this target early. It might not break into the double clue. We might come in here and hit this target, and rally into the double clue. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But right now, we got a high in at the 2/3 division point in time, and the idea and what Dave said at the seminar last January is if we rallied into that 2/3 division point in time to be making some sells. Support comes in at the 1/3 division point in price of 1573. That's the green horizontal line. Below there, support at the midpoint in price, or midpoint of the midpoint, which is the target. So that crosses at 1386. Resistance comes in at the target of 1957, and above there, if things really get hot, we have the 2/3 division point in price of 2342 as a target and resistance. The second chart I'd like to share with you is a weekly July soybeans showing a cycle of 144. Now we move this cycle over a little bit, going from the May 22nd, 2020 low of $8.28.5 at a ratio of 16 cents per week. That puts the midpoint in price at $19.80, and the cycle expires on February 24th, 2023. To point out, we just arrived at the 2/3 division point in time, the green vertical line, last week, the weekend in March 25th, 2022, and we made a little secondary high there. So we want to watch that. Now, he has the 84-week low marked on this chart, and you can see we really took off from there. The midpoint of the midpoint is 1402 in this support. We have minor support at the 1/3 division point in price, the green horizontal line at 1594. The double clue is due June 17th, 2022, and the clue is due October 21st, 2022. These can all mark changes of trend. Next, I'd like to share with you a weekly November electronic soybeans cycle of 360 weeks. This weekly chart, we're looking at a cycle of 360 weeks measured from the May 17th, 2019 low of $8.15.5 at a ratio of 3.7. This gives us a time and price meet due April 10th, 2026 with a target price of $21.47.5. A couple things to point out about this chart. I put an Elliott wave pattern on here. Now I've done this with several of my 360 week bull cycle charts in several different commodities. And my theory is that we're going to be in this bull cycle into, 2025, 26, 27, around those dates for highs. Now you can't predict the market to that degree of accuracy, but this just gives us somewhat of a roadmap of what can happen to reach these targets. The midpoint in time crosses on October 28, 2022, and the midpoint in price crosses at $14.81.5. Now we've achieved this price early, so the market can really sit back here, which kind of aligns with the other charts, thinking we can sit back into the double clues due in May. Resistance comes in at the midpoint in price of 1481.5. We start closing above there again. We'll be looking at the next division point in price, and that crosses at 1648. Above there, the 2/3 green horizontal crosses at 1703.5 Support comes in at the division point in price of $13.15. This fourth chart is a weekly November electronic soybean showing planetary cycles. A couple things to point out on this chart is we supported down here near Uranus, crossed at 861. Then we've been rallying in between the two Marses while we broke above here. But what's interesting about this chart is down here at Saturn. You see Saturn crossed at 1171. The market came down and made a low, and then rallied to the upper Saturn and stopped. Now there's also resistance at Pluto at 1550, Saturn at 1685. Above there we have Neptune, Neptune at $17.05. Looks like the middle Uranus crosses at 1265, and that is now support. Middle Neptune crosses at 1207, Saturn at 1171, and Pluto at 1142. But the main thing to take away from this chart is this is what we like to see, and this is why we use planetary charts, because you will see these planet to planet rallies, and we had a Saturn to Saturn rally and the market stopped. Another indication that things can set back here. Once the market starts trading above these planetary cycles, we'll have to expand the chart and look at the next row up. Until then, look for some resistance with these planetary lines here. Next, we'll take a look at Harmonic Gann Wheel analysis for July soybeans. The Harmonic Gann Wheel is used as a time and price calculator and uses a square 9 grid and circular overlays with degrees marked so you can measure price movements and find areas of support and resistance. Encircling the grid is another circle with each day of the year marked 98.6 degrees apart, so it can also be used to measure time in degrees and is used to find potential days that will mark changes of trend. On the July soybean chart, measuring counterclockwise and using the $17.41 high made February 24th, 2022, support comes in at the 360 degree is at $15.78. The 450 degree is at $15.38. The 540 degree is at $14.99 3/4. The 630 degrees at $14.61 3/4. And the 720, which is 2 turns around the wheel, is at the $14.23 1/4. Now looking at resistance, we're looking at the July soybean chart, measuring counter or clockwise and using the $2.13 low made November 9th, 2021. The wheel resistance comes in at the 450 is at $13.94 1/4. The 540 is at $14.32 1/2. The 630 is at $14.70 1/2. The 720 degrees that's 2 turns around the wheel is at $15.08. The 810 is at $15.47 1/2. The 900 is at $15.88. The 990 degrees at $16.27 1/2. The 1080 degree, which is 3 turns around the wheel, is at $16.67 1/2. The 1170 degree is at $17.09, and the 1260 degree is at $17.51 1/4. Now this is the harmonic wheel cycle analysis, so we're looking at dates here. Starting from the May 12th, 2021 high of $16.67 1/2. July soybeans had a cycle of 270 degrees due February 10th, 2022. Starting from the May 12th, 2021 high of $16.67 1/2. July soybeans has a cycle of 360 degrees due May 12th, 2022, and these may mark changes of trend. Next, we'll take a look at trend using the wheel stop. On the weekly chart, the trend is up with the computer going long in the May soybeans on the weekly chart at $12.83 1/4. The weekend in November 19th, 2021, with the current generated stop at $16.38 for the weekend in April 1st, 2022. Monday, March 28, 2022, this is around 9:30 this morning. May soybeans on the weekly chart were trading the week down 29.5 cents at $16.80 1/4. Okay, and then now we'll take a look at July soybeans. The weekly trend is up with the computer going long. The July soybeans on the weekly chart at $12.87 3/4. The weekend in November 19th, 2021, with the current generated stop at $16.16. That's for April, the weekend in April 1st, 2022. On Monday, March 28, 2022, July soybeans on the weekly chart were trading the week down 27 cents at $16.60. Lastly, I'd like to take a look at weekly buy and sell signals. There is a possible sell signal for May soybeans the weekend in April 1st, 2022 if price trades below the previous week's low of $16.66 3/4. This completes my rundown on the weekly soybean charts. Please read over the disclaimer. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good day.